Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to the Loom Show for Monday, May 7th, 2018. I have my flavored water pack here ready to go. I'm just waiting for the people. I'll just put my little thing a little closer here. Hey, Alma! Hello, good to see you. I'm putting this, sorry about the noise. Put this a little higher here. Good to see you. How are you? Alma, I didn't know you were married. Congratulations. I was looking on your Facebook profile. I'm trying to get to know my friends a little bit better. Congratulations. See, some people keep their private life private, and you have to dig a little bit, but that's okay. That's okay. Because I think Camo Dave Hughes had said before, a lot of people put a lot of their personal life up here, and then people start to critique it, then they get all mad. It's like, well, people put their personal life. Keep your kids out of your YouTube channel, and people won't be doing this and doing that against them, whatever. You know, it's all that. But 17 years, oh wow. That is amazing. Congratulations. 17 years, boy. It's hard to believe. I can remember when I was 17 years old, and it's hard to believe I'm in my 40s now. My hair looks weird today. I don't know. It looks like I'm all balding in the front the way this light is hitting. I might end up having to, I don't know. Maybe I'll move. Self-conscious. Self-conscious about getting older. But I'm glad you're here. How's life been? Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes the light hits it and it looks like, see, I'm looking right in, it looks like it's thinning out, but it's just the way I have it combed, brushed. Believe me, I have a full head of hair, but sometimes by pushing it back, it looks more sparse. Because sometimes I try to make it, because it's getting longer on top, I try to make it so it doesn't pot on its own. Stingray is back. He's back. I'm back. Good to see you. I saw that video and I was like, whoa, that is awesome. I was hoping it would be a shorter time as opposed to a longer time. So, welcome back, my friend. That is so awesome. Plus, we got a Claude video to boot, so it was a win-win situation. I had a cat when I was, well, he died when I was about 22, but I had him from 1986 until around, around 19, did he die in, no, he died in early 2000. He was about 14 years old. I guess I was 20, almost 26. His name was Max, and he would be washing himself, and then his tongue would stick out for like 30 seconds after before he realized it. He was the only cat I ever had that did that. I am slowly healing, going to, of course you had to put a $10 word in there, Alma, make me get closer and use my glasses like cheaters. Nephrologist, is that a nephrologist this Friday? Oh gosh. Oh, Alma, I wouldn't be picking on you so much if I knew you were ailing and you were getting better. I'll wait until you're fully 100% again before I pick on you. That's a promise. The Swedes! Everybody's talking about the Swedes, the Swedes. He's the Swedes. Welcome, Chad, welcome. Alma, I will pray for you, definitely. Stingray is back. Ron Buckley, wow, Ron Buckley from the Middle East. Congratulations, it's got to be very late where you are, man. Wow, it's probably close to midnight. Appreciate you stopping by, everyone. She said Hanks, like Tom Hanks. Good deal in picking up the trash. I'll tell you, this is good in all of us. This is good in all of us. String a whole bunch of those moments together and we got a pretty good country here. Ron Buckley, the Swedes, Alma, and Stingray, and someone else who is just listening, but that's okay. Says I got 5 people here. Oh man, we barely touched that trash. What ideas go? You know, it's like over here. Sometimes we have like these. They have these parties over here, or they rent out the big room for this big shindig, and it's like you get 12 bags of trash, and you're like, man, I'm still going. We have those big, huge. We have two. Well, we have 3 different size trash bag here. We call them black bags, white bags, and small bags. Small bags are so cheap they're not even worth it. That's what you would put like in an office or something for the small little. They're so thin. Like the small bags are so cheap and thin. We hate them. And the white bags are. I think they're 30-gallon bags, and they're a little bit better for the smaller trash buckets. And then the black bags are like, I don't know, 48-gallon or something, and they're for the big barrels. But you get those big black bags, and you get 12 of those, and that's a lot of trash. And you're like, I'm still going. Every little bit helps. You are absolutely right. Moss the Boss. Hey, welcome. We have a newbie here, guys. Let's make Moss the Boss feel welcome. Glad you joined in on the stream. Pull up a chair. Pull up your favorite beverage. Got my green water here. Like wheat germ or something. I don't know. No, it's not wheat germ. Oh, whatever it is, I like it. Ooh, a little bit tart there. Ooh, a little bit tart. Oh, goodness. That's pretty cool. Someone once told me I look like 10 pounds. I usually say it a different way. I usually say that some people look like I don't say it that way. It's like trying to fit 10 pounds of potatoes in a 5-pound bag. But I'm sorry. Oh. Yeah, Alma, you got me confused. I thought maybe Miss Serendipity was here, or Miss Elizabeth from the old World Wrestling Federation, or Swiss Miss pudding bars. Oh, remember those Swiss Miss pudding bars? Oh, those were the bomb.com. Try to get those carts out of the creek at least. Yeah, it's crazy. People just, once one person makes a mess, everyone just follows suit. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. I also have kind hair, apparently. The kind hair was on. I can't. Oh, I can't. I can't. Oh, gosh. I'm going to lean back in my chair for a few. William Bennett. Hey, thank you, sir. I appreciate that very much. Welcome to the stream. Pokey's here, everyone. Welcome to the stream, Pokey. Good to see you. Good to see everyone, as always. We're getting a nice little group in here. Zagnets. How's Zagnets? Zagnets. Remember Zagnets? You don't see them around anymore. I got a million of them. Sorry, I'm over there using my thumb to scroll, and I'm like an earthquake over here. Thank you, Moss the Boss. I appreciate it. I will return the favor, as always. And we're having a pretty good Monday so far. Things are pretty quiet over here. I usually do my Monday vlogs from the car, but lately I have not. Lately I haven't been getting a good signal in the car, and had some buffering problems and eating up all my data and everything. So I just got into the building here at work, and hey, Lou's here. Welcome, Lou. Stingray's back, Lou. Dynamite. But yeah, it's like I just got in the building and get the free Wi-Fi that way. Pokey Porter is here all the way from... Oh my! Exactly. Yep. Leave it to me. Leave it. Every single time. Every time. Every time. Always forget my notifications on. Mr. Sulu, yeah, that usually means that it's a YouTube notification, but there's no way of changing the YouTube notifications. So for me, it's like my default notification gets used, and usually the only time it turns on is when I get a notification from YouTube. Somebody either went live or posted a video, but I always forget to shut that off before my live streams. All the time. I don't know. I hate it. I love it. So how's everyone doing? How is everyone? Ron, how is everything? I heard you're abroad now. Well, not abroad, but you know. Well, actually, I haven't seen you in a while, but no, I heard. Totally, Kathy is here. She calls us bottomers. Yes, we are the bottomers. I'm a bottom feeder. I live off the crud. No, I love that, bottomers. I do. I like that. I made a joke, but I like it. Although Alma, I don't call you a bottomer. Alma's got class. If she's still here, she probably left, but she might be listening. Yeah, we will see this Friday. Elections are going to happen. Yeah, I'll tell you this. It's a dangerous world we live in right now. Sir Wallace of Bauer, Esquire, DDS. What is up? How are you? Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. Just looking at the pictures here. Oh, Alma is here. Okay, I'm sorry. Just some people they do stuff and they listen. Just like I'm still wondering about Father Time. When I first started doing live streams a couple of months ago, 4 months ago, Father Time was a mainstay. He would just show up, say hi, and just listen in the background as he was working. And he doesn't show up anymore. I hope he's okay. Freaking little soul patch over here. Gotta trim it again. Hair goes every which way. I don't know. If Tampa Jay's here, he hasn't said anything yet, but sometimes he shows up. He shows up about 50% of the time, even if it's just for a minute. He's a good guy. Oh, for crying out loud. Anthony, you, you had me totally, I had a feeling like I would know you. Like this, for you to be here, I must know you. But Anthony, you're always welcome under any name. I thought I saw you under the name Tony over the weekend. So you kind of you threw the loom for a loop, which what really isn't hard to do on a Monday, especially. But yeah, what was I talking about? Alma, you are okay. I wouldn't call you plain. You are an absolutely beautiful person inside and out, and that's why I pick on you because well, you have to pick on the good ones, and you're one of the good ones, and it's just little brother type stuff. So. But yeah, Father Time, yeah, that's what I was saying. Father Time, he either moved on. I hope nothing happened to him. Probably moved on or doesn't do YouTube as much. But he would be working. He'd say, "Oh, I just put the live streams on in the background and listen. It's all cool." So the DDS kind of threw me. It doesn't, especially a cat that's a dentist. That's pretty cool. Until August, man, that's 93 strikes. YouTube actually told you 93 strikes. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I got definitely I need to definitely subscribe to your new channel. It's funny how everyone can have an opinion until somebody becomes a real whiner about it and they get all the other people to do the dirty work. What happened to Lou? Is Lou still here? Did Lou leave? Lou knows about that. He speaks his mind and then people come out of the woodwork to go and complain, It's always about that, right? They'll complain about the good, but the bad they say, well, as long as it doesn't include me, they can do whatever they want as long as I don't have to know about it. Somebody has an opinion, they get all the minions out there. Your cat's hilarious. I'm sorry. I'm trying to catch up. I don't multitask good. When I'm reading, it's hard to talk. And when I'm talking, it's hard to read. And when I'm sleeping, it's hard to dream. When I'm dreaming, it's hard to sleep. So I don't know. The old CB. So that's a 10-4, good buddy. The old CB. I bought him a dental degree when he lost a tooth. Yeah, 100,000 subs. 13. Yeah, and believe me, I'm only going to speak facts right now. I saw the live stream last night. I'm sorry, I didn't see the live stream. I went on the live stream just to see how many people were watching. It was a late night live stream for me anyway. I don't know, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever it was, 3 o'clock in the morning for my time, which is not late on Pacific Coast, but for me it is. But, sometimes the Loom, he doesn't sleep purposely as long just because he has stuff to do. But anyway, I noticed, 100,000 subscribers, and there were 258 people in his live stream. Now, hey, JD, what is up, my friend? I gotta go visit your channel again soon. I have a whole list of people. I'm getting to everyone. I promise. I'm getting to everyone I want to get to. Thanks for showing up and reminding me. I do appreciate that. But, I'd rather have 100 good friends and have contact and everything than have 100,000 and only have 258 people at the time that were in the live stream. And the live stream is like this. And it was moving so slow, and he would just answer the ones that he wanted to answer and not say anything about all the rest of them. He was knighted in Seattle. Oh, Seattle. He was knighted in Sealand. My cat's hilarious has a hilarious paper trail. That's funny. Hey, Penny McGee, welcome. Good to see you as always. I always wanted to be knighted in Sealand. Baron von Stingray of Sealand. Yeah, Baron von Stingray of Sealand with the house for runaway husbands. Maybe like a castle for runaway husbands. I'm having a great day so far. Nothing really terrible has gone on yet. So, Wisconsin. Ron, thanks for showing up, man. I appreciate it. Stay safe over there and come back to us safe and sound. And keep living the dream. Wisconsin, I'll tell you, Wisconsin is, from what I understand, Wisconsin is good people. A lot of good people. Stingray, remember there was of course, he's kind of still around, but when he was in World Wrestling Entertainment, he'd come out. I weigh in tonight at 241 pounds. I hail from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Mr. Kennedy. I liked all that stuff, man. Oops, I kicked the music stand here. Sorry about that. Yeah, the noise and the screeches, I'm sorry. Oh, Kathy, I'm sorry. It's too bad people have to pass away sometimes, It's really sad. In many cases, it's sad. Sealand is hilarious. A military pillar with a nutter and a computer hacker in it. I have passports from every fake country. Menasha, Wisconsin. Ravishing Rick Rude. Cut the music. What I'd like to have right now is for all you fat, out of shape Pittsburgh nerds, keep the noise down while I take my robe off and I show the ladies what a real sexy man looks like. Hit the music. Oh, that was the glory days for me. When I was a kid watching all that stuff, I loved all that stuff. I did not watch Backlash, but I'm going to eventually watch it on the WWE Network. Mr. All the crowd would say with him, Kennedy. He's like, I say this alone, Mr. Kennedy. Yeah, the audience. It's great. You know, watching it on TV is great, but there is really nothing like seeing it live and being involved and all that. With my voice, I used to always start all the USA chants over in Providence at the Dunkin' Donuts Center, back when it was still called the Providence Civic Center, but all that fun stuff. The Russians would come out, or anybody that wasn't from America, and I'd be able to, USA! And then the very next thing, you'd have like 5,000 people, USA! And then 10,000, USA! It would only take 3 times to get the whole place with my voice. Oh, I love all that stuff. That's fun stuff. Why don't all you Joplins watch that everything? He used to always say when he was in Providence, all of you no, he'd say you Rhode Island rednecks, keep the noise down. In New York, it was you inner city sweat hogs. He was really respected by his peers, the other boys, as they say, the other wrestlers. They said he was a great guy. It's too bad, you know. All of these great guys that have passed away from my youth when I'd watch wrestling. Yeah, see, some of these guys now, Anthony, some of these guys don't work a crowd at all. You know, they do these high spots and these flips and these things and finishing maneuvers, and people are kicking out and then they're right on their feet again. No, tell a story. A wrestling match should be telling a story from beginning, middle, and end. Definitely, they don't know how to tell a story anymore. Hey, Wyatt Gaming, what is up, my friend? How are you? Welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ooh, so love to fight for real. It was always Papa. Yeah, some people are like they were legitimate tough guys. Of course, way after that, Hardcore Holly from more of the early 2000s. They said he was a legitimate tough guy. Haku, going back to the 80s and 90s. Haku was just a legitimate tough guy. There were certain guys that were real tough guys and certain guys that were they were pansies. But thank you so much, Wyatt Gaming. I appreciate that like. Jake the Snake Roberts would fight anyone, anywhere. Bars, the ring, outside. Jake the Snake Roberts had the most amazing interviews. Unlike today, where interviews are all scripted, but he had some great interviews. Have the fast forward button ready for backlash. Yeah, I was kind of that way with I hate to say it, but with WrestleMania, I was not a huge fan of WrestleMania this year. But Rick Rude and Mr. Perfect went to the same high school, along with I think Hawk from the Road Warriors, and there was somebody else that they all went to high school at the same time, and they got into wrestling at the same time, and in the AWA, and were trained anyway by the American Wrestling Association. But no, they were lifelong friends though, which is always cool about that. Yeah, there were a lot of people that were brothers that were never even acknowledged as brothers. Well, you know, kayfabe at the time was very, very popular. Larry the Axe Hennig, yeah, legitimate tough guy. Speaking of tough guys, and you know, and Mr. Perfect's son right now in WWE. Curtis Axel, I mean, they're totally abusing him. They could do so much with that kid. I mean, his father was Mr. Perfect. His grandfather was Larry the Axe. This kid should be a superstar. He's got the talent. They just don't know what to do with him. You know, if I was running a wrestling organization, I mean, certain people, he would be like my John Cena to run the organization around. You know, he'd be like the son of perfection, you know. Not too many third generation and sometimes like fourth generation wrestlers. They don't know what to do with. Yeah, Japanese wrestling is weird. Yeah, compared to us, there, yeah, like there's no rules. It's totally, totally weird. The Junkyard Dog. Junkyard Dog, yeah, it's a sad story. He passed away because he got into a car accident and died from the injuries. It's just one of those freak accident type things. He was only in his 50s. But yeah, the crowd always got behind JYD. Arr, grab them cakes. You know what, Anthony? That's what it is. They tell so much of a story without the wrestling that it's like a soap opera now. I do like to go to what they call house shows, where you don't have the television cameras there because it gives the wrestlers a chance to really work the crowd more. I have more fun at a non-televised event than I do going to Monday Night Raw or SmackDown or something like that. I really do, because that's what you get. You get a 5-minute interview in a 2-minute match, and then you got to wait 15 minutes for the next match as all this other garbage happens. But anyway, live events, I do enjoy it. I oversaturate myself sometimes, and then I kind of walk away from the live stuff. But I really do really like it. I've been watching since 1984, so the first thing I can honestly remember, as right around the time that, and I've said this before, when Superfly Jimmy Snuka got hit by the coconut from Roddy Piper. That's right around the time I started watching. Hulk Hogan and all the Hulkamania stuff was still at its infancy. The Killer Bees. My second time I ever saw wrestling live. Oh, hey, Rosie, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. The Killer Bees I saw in Providence in a match against the Fabulous Rougeau brothers, right when the Fabulous Rougeau brothers were starting to turn bad. And the Killer Bees, I was right on the aisle seat, right where they would walk through the curtain to get back to the dressing rooms. And as a kid, I leaned over and I put my hand there to get a high five. And Jumpin' Jim Brunzell, one of the Killer Bees, he didn't even give me a slap for a high five. He gave me one of those, of course you can't do it when you're right and left-handed. It's kind of like the not a handshake, but that other one, the old good buddy handshake type thing. Somebody's texting me and making my live stream buffer a little bit. Come on. About this, guys. So yeah, Killer Bees. I love the Killer Bees. They got lost in the shuffle in the World Wrestling Federation. Rosie was here. Rosie, good people. I always get good people in here. Everyone's great. A great company I get in here. Haku Barbarian. Yeah, Barbarian. Remember him with the powers of pain? The Barbarian. And the Warlord. They were, talk about, I mean, they're still in great shape to this day. Taylor Johns, welcome. Hello. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Ooh, I like your picture. Nothing wrong with fishing. I gave up fishing kind of only because I feel bad, because every time I put the hook in the water, I catch something. I don't even try, and it's like they jump out of the water for me. So it's like, hey, I go fishing to have have a good time, not to be doing this that fast. I want to enjoy this a little bit, not get too much too fast. Hey, what do I gotta go now. I love the Brutus, the Barber Beefcake. I never met him personally. I know he was living in Boston for a while. I don't know, about 15 years ago. I think he moved down south. But out of all of his gimmicks, out of all of Brutus Beefcake's, Ed Leslie's real name, out of all of his characters he played, he had the most success with Brutus the Barber Beefcake. And to this day, if he does still wrestle once in a while, that's what he wrestles as. Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Rosie, love you. We when I was refereeing in the minor leagues back around 1998 into 1999 in the extreme minor leagues. I mean, the biggest show we ever did, we got about 100 people, and that was at a college, University of Dartmouth up in Massachusetts. But we were supposed to have was it Jake the Snake Roberts? It's almost like the same story that was told. I think it was Jake the Snake Roberts was going to do a show for us, and it's just like in that story on the was it Beyond the Mat, that movie, a documentary about wrestling, when Jake, I don't know, he wanted drugs, he wanted money. There was talk that he was going to no show anyway, so they didn't. It was something like that. Yeah, weird stuff. At the time, it was like I didn't know a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, even when it came to people's past, but. Yeah, they never bring up Bray Wyatt as Michael Thomas or Bo Dallas, but that's what I mean. See, there's guaranteed connections there. If they would have put these two in some type of a tag team, even now, I mean, those who know would love it, and those who didn't know, they wouldn't be any of the worse for wear, you know? Yeah, John Cena, I've been waiting for it, but because of the way that it's like Rey Mysterio Jr. there, Rey Mysterio, the kids love him so much. How do you turn someone like that into a heel? They did it in Hulk Hogan's way after Hulkamania was. I mean, I can't see it happening to John Cena, but I don't know. You know, the kids, that's where the merchandising is. The kids want this, the parents have to buy it. They'd be losing a lot of money because that John Cena merch, it still flies off the shelves. T-shirts, wristbands, all that stuff. That's a lot of money. Can you talk to me, read the comments? Yeah, I can read more comments, Taylor, sure. So Wallace says John Cena sells too much merch to turn heel. Yeah, Stingray says, yeah, Cena should turn heel. It would be like a new beginning, even though he was heel 16 years ago, but it'd be like a new beginning. I couldn't believe when Hogan did it. Yeah, that was something that was, I never thought it would happen. You know, when you have the biggest baby face, the biggest, I mean, pretty much in wrestling history, the biggest crowd pleaser, the biggest fan favorite of them all turning heel in 1990, was it 96? 95, 96? 96 probably. Yeah, just, I never, I think it'll happen for Cena. I think it'll happen. But then again, maybe people expect it to happen because the crowd boos them anyway, a lot of times. Sorolla says, yep, the house shows are fun. Am I that far behind or am I just... I am that far behind, probably. Oh, I am way behind. Oh, sorry, guys. I'll catch up. I'll catch up. I'm doing too much talking, not enough reading. That's what it is. The coconut. Oh, wow, I'm way behind. I'm sorry, guys. House shows are fun. 1984. The coconut. Yeah, that coconut was... I loved it. I love that coconut thing. To this day, they need to have more, make it look legit, you know? Bobby the Brain Heenan's daughter was your nurse when you were in the hospital a couple of months ago. Wow, I didn't even know he had a daughter, Pokey. Wow, that's awesome. Jim Brunzell had one of the best drop kicks I ever saw. Coco Beware had a good one, too. Lose back, lose back. I'll catch up to everyone. Zodiac. Oh, yeah, the Butcher. His first gimmick was as Hulk Hogan's brother way back before any of them were popular. The Freebirds, yeah. Freebirds, Michael P.S. Hayes was good with crowds, but I mean, I wouldn't actually call myself a Freebird fan. He was one of the first people to sing his own entrance music. Bad Street, Atlanta, GA. Bushwhackers were a kids' act, yeah, you're right. When the Sheep Herders, they were really bloody and mean and everything, and Vince didn't want any part of that, so turned them good. I heard Butch is really, he's got some type of a, and I know he's on crutches and everything, but Luke, believe it or not, they say Luke, as of 2017, Bushwhacker Luke Miller still wrestles from time to time. And he's up there in age, definitely. Like Nikolai Volkov, I heard he still wrestles from time to time. This guy's in his 70s. I think he's in his 70s. I might be wrong. Psycho Sid, yeah, Psycho Sid, like 6'9". Yes, yes, Pokey. I think that's Luke. Did security for the Staples Center. Kane, yeah, Kane. Kane is like legitimately 6'10". Yeah, absolutely. My doctor was a doctor for all of them. That's pretty cool, Stingray. That's pretty cool. I repeat everything. I repeat everything. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I saw Undertaker wrestle Kevin Nash when he was Diesel, and their heads were above the crowd. I mean, they looked like they were in, like everybody else looked like they were in kindergarten. Sid is 6'8". Oh gosh, that's amazing. Yep, Kane's gonna be mayor. I always wanted Jerry the King Lawler to be mayor of Memphis. Yeah, Stingray, that was awesome stuff. Look on Hogan's face when Piper showed up. New Jack's tattoo on Terry Runnels' neck. I did not know about that. Yeah, Volkov wrestles, exactly. Same way that Psycho Sid wrestles. Psycho Sid, his biggest problem was at the time of big interviews, he couldn't do that big an interview. Some people, like Lex Luger, listen to Lex Luger do an interview, and I guarantee you, 4 out of 5 times he messes up and says the wrong words and just could not cut a good promo at all. Booker T is huge. He's like still like big shoulders, muscular. You know who gets, and no one knows this unless you've seen him because he's one of the newer guys. WWE commentator Byron Saxton. Byron Saxton is, to see him live like I did in Providence, he looked like he was poured into that suit. But you know when someone wears a suit and you can tell that they are muscular, they are ripped? He looked like The Rock in a suit, let me tell you. Like legitimately, Dwayne Johnson, like The Rock. And I'm saying, I know this guy was a wrestler, and he still technically is a wrestler, he's commentating. But this guy, he keeps in shape. I said, this guy looks like he could go out there and like lift Big Show over his head. The muscles this guy looked from his arms and shoulders, he looked like he was like poured into that suit. And I said, this is a guy that he gets it. He keeps, for a younger guy, he gets it. The Boogeyman, Lucas Allen, welcome, welcome. I'm the Boogeyman, and I'm coming to get ya. That was pretty cool. Worst thing going against him. Oh, hey, Lou. Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it so much. The thing about Boogeyman was he just was already 42 years old when he started because he lied about his age. Too bad. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Anthony, about Jerry the King. Oh, for crying out loud, Pokey. I didn't know that. Wow. Goldberg, yeah, Goldberg. I don't think he looks as big as the other guys. Ted DiBiase, one of the greatest gimmicks in my opinion, was the old back in the late 80s. Everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man. Let's go, Virgil. Virgil with the money all the time, never said anything. They killed Virgil's career when they made him talk for the first time. Because his thing was being quiet and being the enforcer. But anyway, that's when he became a good guy. Started talking and doing interviews. It wasn't the same. $1 Million Man, they made him that whole gimmick. Vince McMahon wanted him to live out that gimmick, and he legitimately had all his hotels paid and this and everything, the private jets and everything. Vince paid for all that for him to live out that lifestyle. That's pretty good. Oh goodness, Virgil bombed, yeah. I wish at my church that we could get Ted DiBiase to do as a guest evangelist. That would be cool. We don't have the money for that, but that would be awesome. Goldust, yeah, I still like Goldust. It's been done so much over the years, but Goldust is still a draw. One time I didn't know he was going to be in Providence, and the music, it was like at the time he'd been out for a while and he came back in Providence, and it's like the music hit, and I'm like, Goldust? I'm like, yeah. I had seen, I was supposed to see Goldust when I guess I was about 23, and it was a small place in Warwick, Rhode Island. That was mostly for music, but WWE would go there once a year. Long story made short, Goldust was supposed to be there, but had transportation problems. So Billy Gunn wrestled his match for him. And so I missed out on seeing Goldust the first time around. But I didn't miss out the next time. And he just happened to be there as a surprise thing, so that was pretty cool. The Diamond Cutter. I used to love when Diamond Dallas Page do that Diamond Cutter out of nowhere. My favorite finishing maneuver... I liked a lot of the stuff from the top rope. I'll say Macho Man Randy Savage flying elbow. That was always just the whole... And then he would jump, and they get that camera angle right. Oh, absolutely. He would just spring up to the top rope and fingers pointing in the air. That's probably my all-time favorite. I always liked Hulk Hogan's leg drop, too, because you knew it was coming. Big boot, body slam, ropes, leg drop. As a kid, It just everything was like Bret Hart. Bret Hart was all the same moves all in a row. You can set your watch to it. I loved all that. Oh, Snake Eyes by Vinny Vegas. Yeah, Diesel. Snake Eyes. Boom. I like the Ric Flair with the figure four because of the showmanship. Grab the leg. Whoa. All that stuff. Oh man, finishing maneuvers are underrated. They nowadays they don't fit. It's like WrestleMania. You have to do the finishing maneuver 4 times to beat somebody. It's called finishing maneuver. It's supposed to be no one can kick out of it. Remember La Parka put the diamond cutter on Macho Man? It was yes, La Parka, the chairman. He'd have that chair, and it was Diamond Dallas Page. I have that on tape somewhere. I have all that WCW stuff on VHS tape. I used to tape it every week. It's all in storage. It's probably all. I hope it's not all wrecked, but I loved all that. All that when Jeff Jarrett dressed up like Doink the Clown, and it was him under all the makeup, all that stuff. I love all those swerves. First swerve I remember seeing was Honky Tonk Man dressed up like Kamala's handler Kimchi, and I think he was beating up on Macho Man. Macho Man just has bad luck with that stuff. I mean, first it was Honky Tonk Man and then Diamond Dallas Page. Oh, they don't do that enough anymore. Carrie Sane's jumping elbow is insane. I love the women's stuff though. Women have come a long way. I loved Fabulous Moolah, but I mean, nowadays these girls they're like acrobats. The figure four, if you put the leg that crosses, if you put it above the knee, it hurts like a son of a gun. On TV, they usually when they fold the legs into the four, they put the leg under the knee, and it doesn't hurt as much. That's how they're able to do it. But yeah, I was in the figure four, and let me tell you, I tapped out within 2 seconds. I was one of those. Oh my goodness, I thought my leg was gonna break because someone was showing me just how legitimate things are if you're not careful. Undertaker came up out of the mat. Yeah, one time on Raw. More than one time, if I remember correctly. That's all. I lived in the greatest time, I have to admit, to see wrestling evolve and to see what I've seen in the past 34 years. I'm a very blessed individual. That's exactly what it is. Yep, Anthony, you're right. A sharpshooter, all that stuff. It's legitimately, it's if you're not careful, both guys have to work towards the same thing. If you're not careful, you can do some legitimate harm. Yep. My doctor was really close to Benoit. Oh gosh, Benoit. I was one of the biggest Chris Benoit fans that never knew any of the behind the scenes stuff. But like Dean Malenko, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Perry Saturn, all of those guys that they just put on great matches that especially in WWE, they didn't really get a fair shake. WCW was great with the smaller guys. Better than WWE was, around 15 years ago. But like Dean Malenko and Chris Benoit, all that stuff, I thought they were great. Put on a great, entertaining match. And Dean Malenko was another one that his interviews they were horrible. Lance Storm. If I could be serious for a moment, that's the funniest thing he ever said because this guy was legitimately serious every minute of the day. This guy never cracked a smile. Oh, you really? Oh man, I didn't know that Stingray. There's so many conspiracy theories about that, and I don't know what to believe because I don't know. You can look him up. I was also in a band with him. He's the best keyboard player in the state. That's to me, and I apologize if anyone's not a wrestling fan. I apologize. I don't get to talk to, I don't get to talk. I don't get a chance to talk wrestling all that much. Usually my coworkers, once they find out I'm a wrestling fan, that's all they want to talk about with me. And a lot of those guys are on day shift all the time, so I don't see them all that much. But thanks for giving me a chance to talk about this. I appreciate it, and I apologize if people are not a wrestling fan. And but yeah, once I get talking about wrestling, I love it. I've never walked away from it since I was freaking 9 years old. I love it though. the Hebner brothers. I wrote to Dave Hebner, not Dave, I'm sorry, Earl Hebner on Twitter a few years ago. I don't know if Earl is still refereeing for, well, as they call it now, Impact Wrestling, TNA. But I wrote and said, hey, I always loved the way that you were a referee. I said, in WWE especially, you were the best. And he wrote back, he's like, yeah, damn straight. And I'm like, I says, yeah, you got a bum rap. I told him. I just wanted to see what he would say. He's like, you got that right. And I was like, wow. It's like either he's just like joking around, or this guy really is legitimately, you know, a tough typer anyway. But I got a big kick out of that. Oh, yeah, Alma. You're still here. I apologize. This is like wrestling. I thought was going to be my life. I was training to be a wrestler in the extreme minor leagues at a time where there was a lot of disarray, and this faction was breaking up into two. And in the meantime, the new faction that the guys that I was all involved with were all starting this new federation up. And at the time, they just said, hey, in the meantime, until we get things going, do you want to be a referee for us? So I became that. Out of two guys, I was the head referee. The other guy didn't know what he was doing. Then they got this older guy that helped out, and he didn't know what he was doing either. And I ended up it was like I was poured into the referee shirt. I ended up being really good at it, because then I started watching matches and watching what the referee's doing, and it kind of gave me a whole new perspective on watching pro wrestling. But the Wolverine Benoit, yeah. But yeah, sometimes Alma, it's like, no, you're right. I shouldn't apologize, but these live streams, I love how I go into them totally blind, and we just talk about whatever happens in the stream, and that's how I treat it. Stingray said, and he's the best person that ever said this to my knowledge. It's like a group of friends getting together, and for me, I just happen to be the one that's on camera, but we just talk about like a group of friends hanging out, and whatever we talk about is what happens, and it just happens that I am a huge wrestling fan. And like if we were talking about basketball, I wouldn't know much about it because I don't follow it. But I always wanted to. I always wanted to continue. What happened was, I was working my full-time job here, and I was starting my full-time job here, and I had a part-time job at Walmart, and I was spreading myself so thin, and where I was refereeing for that organization called UCW at the time, Unified Championship Wrestling, and they were just barely above water. Like I said, we'd do shows in front of 25 people. It was the extreme minor leagues. I loved every minute of it, and the guys that I met all had regular jobs that would do this on weekends, and I loved every minute of it, but there was no future in it for me, and looking back now, I wish I would have stuck with it. They ended up folding a short time after, but I could have got involved with another organization, and who knows what would have happened. But I just couldn't leave my job. Just like for YouTube, I can't leave this great paying job that I have that pays the bills and pays my mortgage and everything like that for a hobby. So I would have been always keeping that as a hobby for weekends, and then that would have been great. It's just at the time, you think you're going to stay young forever, and it doesn't happen. We need to talk about that Sweet Springs tub you dipped in. No, I mean I love all this wrestling talk. I apologize if people don't understand it or they don't know, but yeah, I mean we've been all over the place. I mean we've been from the '80s all the way to the present stuff. But I'll get a tennis racket, like Jim Cornette, one of the greatest managers ever. My favorite manager was always Bobby the Brain Heenan. I appreciated Bobby the Brain Heenan even more years later when I heard his acceptance speech for the WWE Hall of Fame. And he talked about how he got involved in wrestling. And the greatest story was the first time he went to see wrestling, he saw this bad guy, and he had a manager. The manager was telling everybody off and being mean and getting booed and everything. And Bobby Heenan's like, hey, I can do that for a living. That's exactly what he did. He became the guy everyone hated. A polo stick, yeah. Exactly, Alma, exactly. Stingray made a touchdown in basketball once. Then the coach told me I wasn't actually. be on team, even though I was wearing my tinfoil hat and bath towel as a cape. I love it. Oh gosh, I'll tell you. There's been some good times in my life. There's been some good times watching pay-per-view back at now. Of course, I have the WWE network, so I can get all the pay-per-views for $9.99 a month, and I get all the other stuff too. All that, all included. I was a Hulkamaniac growing up because I was a kid, but years later, my favorite wrestler was Eddie Guerrero, and just some of these smaller guys that had talent. Macho Man Randy Savage, I became a fan of his because he just put out the greatest interviews. I want to incorporate something like that into a video someday with my ooh yeah, all that. Because I was a kid, so I learned how to impersonate so many different wrestlers because it was just entertaining for me. And as I got older, the impersonations got better. But Big Boss Man, I used to love the Big Boss Man stuff when he was in a tag team with the African Dream Akeem. He used to wrestle as the one man gang. Loved all that big guy stuff. $9.99 a month. I get all the pay-per-views, and I get all the library stuff that they have there. It's all paper. It's all on demand. So if I want to watch like a Saturday night's main event from 1988, they're all there. I just click on the link and boom, I can watch it. A lot of live stuff that was from Madison Square Garden over the years, or Philadelphia Spectrum, the LA Sports Arena. A lot of that stuff is all there all the time. Old episodes of Primetime Wrestling before Monday Night Raw. A lot of stuff from the old World Class Championship Wrestling and Mid-South and AWA. Vince bought all those libraries. WCW, all that stuff is there. Monday Nitro. You want to watch Monday Nitro from 1998? They're all there. Oh, you're not evicted, Alma. Definitely not. You remember when Razor Ramon's toothpick got stuck in Jimmy Ivanhoe's beard? I don't remember that. I never saw that. Hey, Rob, get to the chopper. How are you? Hello, hello, hello. The United States Wrestling, was it Association or Alliance? Association. USWA, I definitely remember. Get to the chopper. But yeah, I'll pick this up so I can lean back a little bit. I was because of where I lived and cable TV, a lot of these other wrestling organizations back in the 80s and 90s, I only knew about because of wrestling magazines, Pro Wrestling Illustrated, The Wrestler, Wrestling Observer, all these, of course, WWF magazine at the time was around, but they only covered the WWF. But the first time I saw Ric Flair wrestle on TV, it was great because for years I had heard of him from magazines, and there was no internet back then. So it was great. He went up against Brad Armstrong in the TV match I saw back in 1989. Ric Flair was just starting to turn into a good guy. And Sting had just joined, or was in the process of joining the Four Horsemen. And TBS used to air every couple of months. It was kind of like a pay-per-view, but they would call it the Clash of the Champions. And it'd be like live on TBS. And that was great because having cable TV, I was able to start seeing some of that. We didn't get cable TV until I was much later in life. I was 14, 15, but... Oh, when Jeff Jarrett bashed the guitar on Ahmed Johnson's head. Piece of wood stick. I do remember that. I remember Hacksaw Jim... Of course, this is not the greatest story. But Hacksaw Jim Duggan... Of course, I'm a guy, so this is why I tell this story. Hacksaw Jim Duggan on a Saturday morning, they will go up against these nobodies. These ham and eggers that you knew who was going to win. Hacksaw Jim Duggan did his three-point stance, clothesline, finishing maneuver. And then he looks into the camera and he's like, oh, and they had stopped it on the replay and he had this freaking booger hanging out of his nose. That was like, oh my gosh. And Jesse Ventura, who was doing commentary with Vince McMahon at the time, Vince McMahon says, oh, that's rather a unique individual. And Jesse says, what's that hanging out of his nose, McMahon? And Vince says, oh, I'm not going to comment on that, as we take you now to Mean Gene Okerlund with the update. I used to. Oh, I had it on tape. I had it on tape because I was taping it for that Saturday, and I'll never forget that. What's that hanging out of his nose? I'm like, man, it was so gross. Once both WCW and WWF were in Tidewater, Virginia, at two different venues. Generation X, D-Generation X rented an Army. Yes, yes, they talk about that on the WWE Network. Within the last year, anyway. I don't remember when. One of the WWE interview girls, they were at that venue where WCW was, in that outside where the tank was, with with the Road Dogg Jesse James, and she was interviewing him, talking about what it was like that night, because that was all spur of the moment kind of. And if WCW had opened that door and the wrestlers were there, they would have got their butts handed to them on a freaking paper plate. But it's funny when they're reminiscing about something that happened 20 years ago. Like, it's amazing. I love all that history, when they get break character a little bit and talk about different things. So it's like, yeah, we're over there and we're for WWE, and hey, you guys come on out. And if they had come out, it would have been over for them. That's cool, Rob. Awesome, awesome. I interviewed Jim Duggan and I asked him his most memorable moment. He said beating Andre Giant. Yeah, because Andre didn't like everybody. And there were certain people that he didn't mind. And Hacksaw Jim Duggan was one of those guys that Andre didn't mind putting over. So, like, he hated Jake the Snake Roberts' snake. He legitimately was deathly afraid of snakes. When they did that thing back in 1988 where Jake had to put Damien on him, and they legitimately thought that Andre was going to have a heart attack because he just did not want to do that angle at all. Look at me using wrestling terms. Hey, Rob, thanks for stopping by, man. Get to the chopper. I'll be back. Or Rob will be back. Scott Hall and Kevin Nash saw them and he thought it was hilarious. Yep. That's funny stuff. I mean, I love reminiscing. There's not enough time, but I love reminiscing about this, especially the 90s when wrestling first changed and they started using more light shows and different graphics, and then the stages changed and they started having all the Titantron, I'll be back, and all that. I loved all that, to see wrestling change. But then again, I love watching the old stuff too, like, seeing like the first WrestleMania where it looks like just a normal Madison Square Garden show, very little lighting, you can't even see the audience. Pokey says, how about George the Animal Steel biting the turnbuckles with his green tongue, and the next day he's teaching school? Yes, he was like some type of was he a gym teacher or something? And he used to use, he said, Clorets gum and make his tongue green like that. But as a kid, you see all that stuff and you think these guys really are animals, and that they really don't know English and all this other stuff. And then years later, you find out that they speak like normal people because they are normal people. Their job just happens to be being a wrestler. But yeah. Oh, Alma, you gotta go. Take care. Oh, you're legitimately leaving this time. Okay. Much love to you, Alma. Stop by anytime. And congratulations on getting married. It's a big step for you. No, I'm only joking. I said I wouldn't pick on Alma. I'm only joking. Alma's been married for almost 17 years of a wonderful marriage to a wonderful guy. Yeah, Vader was one of those guys that his character was mean, and they said he didn't have him and Bam Bam Bigelow didn't have a mean bone in their body. They were these big teddy bears that everyone loved. Leon, who was Vader's name? Leon something. Oh, I'm drawing a blank. Leon White. Leon White. I worked for Best Buy. Chris Jericho came in on a Thursday night. We turned on all the TVs on, and he was wrestling on TV. He called us all a-holes. He called you a-holes because you put the TVs on and he was wrestling? Hey, JD, thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it. Leon White, yep. Bam Bam Bigelow, as a kid, I liked him, but you know, all the WCW stuff he did, that was all forgettable. He was part of that Triangle of Terror. Was that what it was called? With Diamond Dallas Page and Chris Canyon. Bastion Booger, yeah. Mike Shaw, who made a career as a bad guy in Canada, comes over to WWE and they give him that gimmick of Bastion Booger after a one night gimmick as Friar Ferguson. I'll tell you, WWE's gimmicks around 1994, 1995, they just, I don't get them at all, what they were thinking. They take Tony Anthony, who was a big, a big star in the South, and was his name Tony? No, Tony Anthony. Was that his name? He became T.L. Hopper, a plumber in WWE, toilet lid Hopper, the dirty white boy. Tony Anthony, I think was his name. And that's the best gimmick they can give him. Yeah, no pun intended, but Adam Bomb kind of went up in a puff of smoke. It's because, you know, he had Johnny Polo, you know, who became Raven. He had Johnny Polo as a manager. He had Harvey Whippleman as a manager. I mean, if they would have given him to like a, oh, Bobby the Brain wasn't managing anymore, but they would have given him to like a Jim Cornette or something. That would have been cool. The Brooklyn Brawler, Steve Lombardi. Met him, got his autograph. It's like when you get his autograph, you get an autograph for like 5 different people because of all the different characters he's played over the years. Abe Knuckleball Schwartz. I don't know where they thought that character was going to go. Gosh, I loved all that stuff. Especially the early 90s. I love the Hart Foundation when they were together, especially as a good guy. Demolition, I love Demolition. Good or bad, it didn't matter. They just beat people up. Greg the Hammer Valentine hangs out in the Clearwater area and he's still a jerk. They say he's a real jerk. Yeah, I heard that from many people. And he did that interview last year or whatever it was where he said that he thinks women shouldn't be wrestling. They should be at home barefoot, making babies and everything. That you don't say that in the year 2017. You don't say that even. I don't care when. I mean, that's such a bigoted attitude that you can't say to social media. I mean, especially when some of the girls put on better matches than some of the guys nowadays. My favorite, right? My favorite out of all the girls nowadays is, of course, now I got the wrong one's name in my head. Alexa Bliss. She's just a little cutie, and she's my favorite out of all them. But women's wrestling has come so far in the last 10 years, especially. Maybe the last 20 years. But I remember the Fabulous Moolah, Wendy Richter, Velvet McIntyre, all that stuff. Alundra Blaze, well, Medusa Maselli before that, but the Jumping Bomb Angels from Japan. Mike Rotundo and Barry Windham as the U.S. Express. Barry Windham, son of Blackjack Mulligan. All these guys that they don't use, they don't put all that out there at the time. No one knew. Oh, guys, I hate to do this. I gotta get going. It's almost time for me to start work. And I still gotta drive over to the building to go and punch in. So, I had a great time talking all this. We gotta do this again sometime. And do another live stream really, really soon. And for those still here, like Stingray, Pokey, Dawn Marie. Oh, gosh. Dawn Marie. Judy! Oh, I'm sorry, Judy. I'm just leaving. I gotta go to work. I've been on here for a little over an hour, and I gotta go to work. If things are really... No, I appreciate you being here. I'm so sorry. If things are really quiet this week, I'm thinking that if things are quiet, which they might be a little bit quieter this week, I might be able to get a few more live streams in, maybe a little bit later than usual, but that's all good. Yeah, Judy, definitely, I appreciate it. Clearski's here too. Hey, man, sorry, I got to get going. I'm at the end of my live stream, and I got to go to work. And I still got to drive over to. I'm in the building I work in, but I got to drive over to the other building to go and punch in and then come back and everything. But hey, thanks. I appreciate you stopping in, Creepers, and Illuminators Unite, and Judy, Sting. Thanks for being here. We had a great talk, and Pokey all the time. Great time. Anthony, if you're still here, Anthony might have left before. Might have missed that, but I gotta get going, guys and girls. Have a great day. You too, Judy. And Creeper, I'll catch you out your latest videos. The last two of them I still gotta watch, so I'll make sure I do that tonight. And I love you all. Take care. Have a great one. Hit that like button on the way out if you haven't already. Ghost Findings TV. I'm sorry, I'm on the way out. I gotta go and stop the live stream so I can go to work. Pokey says, "Do you remember when Mark Anthony was supposed to have gotten me?" Oh, yeah. What's his name? Mark Henry. Yeah. Mark Henry. Yeah, Ghost Finders TV next time, definitely. I'll catch up with you. And oh gosh, and she gave birth to that hand. Oh, that was the weirdest thing in the world. What were they thinking? But yeah, guys, and I'll be back.